Suicide Zen Forgiveness, the pod that shares the stories of those affected by suicide. Lost a loved one? Attempted it yourself? Did you know that when you share a burden, the load is lightened? Come listen in with your host, Elaine Lindsay.
Suicide Zen Forgiveness, the podcast, is for education only. Some of the subject matter could be triggering for those that are newly grieving or in a poor state of mental health. Please call your local suicide hotline or mental health office if you need immediate help. Hello, I'm glad to be back, and this is going to be a solo show today. It shouldn't be too long, and my friends say it's not good when I say that because it could mean that I go on forever. I will try and make this as succinct as I can and make sure that I'm staying on topic, because I have to say I was incredibly saddened this week here in Ottawa, Canada, to hear about this supposed Million March for Children. First off, I have to say that in total on Parliament Hill, I understand there might have been 1,000 people in total, and that's two protests. The protest of those that purportedly are for children, and the counter protest for those of us who believe we're all human and everybody has human rights. In fact, I'm 67 years old. I am soon going to be 68. And I didn't know at the time that our neighbor, our downstairs neighbor, was a little different. He was different from my dad. He was different from my friends. He talked a little different and he acted a little different. And he was a great guy. We really liked him. No one labeled him as whatever. He was just who he was. And we always knew there was something a little different, but there was something a little different about me. There was something a little different about my cousins, my sister, we're all different. That's the whole point. Okay, if humans were all the same, my God, that would be boring for starters. And I'm not going to get off on being too funny, because this did not strike me as funny in the least. This is dangerous. This is, to me, absolutely heartbreaking. Homophobia, transphobia, any kind of phobia against a person or whatever they feel or whatever they believe. And that includes people I don't agree with. We have a right to our opinion, and I'm not saying they don't. What I am saying is, when you cross that line and become hateful, and in this case at the march, they use their children to hold up disgusting signs and taught them to say revolting things about things that at this point these kids don't even understand. And just because you're a parent doesn't mean you're a good parent. It doesn't mean you should pass on what you do or what you think or what you have to your children. Because as much as we believe that some kids, especially trans kids and 2SLGBTQIA+ kids can be unsafe on the streets, there are lots of kids that are unsafe in their homes. And people need to not lose sight of that, because not every one of us was cut out to be a parent. We tend to live what we know, And people who are brought up with bullies as parents, they have their own issues. People who are brought up with parents with mental illness, they have their own issues. And there are lots of times that people that are a bit different go out of their way to give their children the very best chance they can. And I understand that some of these people that get caught up in this believe that's what they're doing. But if you ask them what the actual ideology is that they're protesting against, they can't really tell you. They don't know. And on the news, I heard one gentleman of the protest saying that no one was going to make his children use the same bathroom. And I thought, wow, it must be nice to be so rich. Do you have separate gendered bathrooms in your home? Because I sure don't. I grew up in a home with one bathroom. It didn't matter who you were or what your proclivities were, you used the one bathroom because it's the only one we had. And my parents and other people's parents often grew up with outdoor bathrooms. You honestly think they worried about whether you were male, female, or somewhere in between when you went to the outhouse? Seriously. There are so many things that we have right now that are at issue. We have children that go without food. We have people in our northern communities that don't have clean water. Today, in 2023, where are the protests about that? Okay, why don't these people that are so up in arms, supposedly, about marching for children, why is it when we hear them on the loudspeakers, on the TV news, talking about what they talk about, why is it they're talking about getting rid of Trudeau? Why is it they're talking about overthrowing our government and getting rid of the structure and changing? What exactly does that have to do with your child sitting next to a trans child in class? You know what it has to do with it? Absolutely nothing. Because the people that put this protest together, you'll notice that Tamara Leach was there and Chris, whatever the hell his name is, that was with her. They were at the protest. And there's a lot of money that comes from other places. Okay, it's not the grassroots people. It's not some of the immigrants we saw on the Hill. It's not the average Joe who gets up there and understands every single word in what it is they're going after. Because just like the Freedom Convoy, it had nothing to do with the truckers. This is a whole different fight. And in this fight, the people that are getting hurt are the youth that are most at risk. This podcast I started because I lost a friend to suicide when I was 16. We didn't have the big problems that we have today, or certainly not on the surface, certainly not that we knew. And doing this podcast today, it terrifies me how many more people we're losing, how many children. And honest to God, if you are one of those protesters, why don't you look into the numbers and the stats of the children that you've labeled as transgendered or LGBTQIA plus 2S, any of those? Why don't you look at the numbers of the children that we're losing because they're being bullied, they're being ostracized, they're not being given the tools they need to find out who they are, where they fit in society. And honest to God, does it really matter if somebody wears a dress? Does it really matter if somebody wears a conservative business suit with nail polish and makeup and sounds like a big burly wrestler? Does it matter? Honestly, how does that change anything? Well, guess what? It doesn't. Why can't you just let people be people? Because when it comes down to it, the bottom line is this: we are all human. Okay? You cut any one of us, we bleed. We all bleed red blood. Okay? That just is a fact. So instead of labeling people as this or that or the other thing, why don't we just come together as the one human race that we are? And there's a guy I noticed on, I'm sorry now, I don't know if it was TikTok or it was Instagram, or he's holding up a sign and say, if you believe we all bleed the same, we are all the same, then let me give you a hug. And people are hugging him all over. I think that's incredible. Take 2 seconds out of your day and think a nice thought about someone else, someone that isn't necessarily someone that would be in your sphere, somebody that would be in your group. Because if we just each reach out to one person that we don't know, one stranger that's different from us, for one, I guarantee you'll learn something. And for two, we might just save a life. Okay, that's why I do this. I don't care what people wear. And yeah, there are some times I'll see somebody wearing something and think, oh, that's weird. It's the outfit I might think's weird, not the person. And whether I think something is weird or somebody sees me with something on and thinks that's weird, fine. It's not something to get heated over. It's not something to ostracize people over. Okay? The amount of pain in the world, the amount of pain in young people who are just these balls of hormones and rage and feelings and all of these things. Think back, okay? If you're an older person, think back to when you went through puberty. It was not fun. It was a lot of weirdness in your head. Whether you are completely sane or whether you have a mental issue or whether whatever's going on that day, going through a change, becoming an adult is tough. Okay, even when you don't have all the other crap. So just imagine you're going through this process and you're questioning who you are. You're questioning how you feel. If you listen, really listen to some of the stories of some of the children who have grown up to adulthood now, who knew as early as 3 years of age that they felt in the wrong body. What do we have to tell them they're wrong? Okay, it's what does anyone else have to tell me my hair shouldn't be blue? My hair. All of these seem to me like such little things. If somebody, okay, is good to other people, if somebody is considerate, they're empathetic, they go about their business and have kindness to others, then who the hell cares what label you need to put on them? Because honest to God, I am sick and tired of labels. The only label we need is human. Okay? what happens in our homes with the people that are around us, what we choose to wear, where we choose to go, what we choose to read, all of these things are simply our business. Do you really want to end up living with Big Brother staring over your shoulder? Isn't it enough that we have social media doing just that? Can we not get real? No, I want to challenge everybody. I want you to just make a quick little video and say, I am choosing to accept other humans because we're all human. That's all I ask. Put it on Instagram, put it on TikTok. I want you to put the hashtag all human. I don't know if it'll help. I don't know how much it'll help. I just know I need to do something because I can't watch us causing pain to other people for such ridiculous reasons. It's bad enough we have political angst and there is war and people are dying. Okay, that's bad enough. Why don't we just, at the grassroots level, try to accept one more person? Because the minute you do that, the next one after that's going to be easier. The one after that, even easier. So this was not scripted. I didn't pre-decide what I was going to say other than the fact that we are all human. And hashtag all human. Yes, I support you, whether you're trans, whether you're two-spirit, whether you're lesbian, gay, what is it, questioning, in between, not sure, asexual, any of those things. Because in actual fact, I don't think that's any of my business. I just want you to be kind to others, be kind to yourself, have empathy, because everybody's got a story. Everybody's going through something. And to those that participated as million marchers for children, granted, there were not a million of you. I won't let you away with that. But you're human, and I have to have empathy for you for that reason as well. So even you, I say, just take a moment, take a second to look at somebody else's perspective. And let's just be kinder to each other, please. There's enough strife with everything else in the world. I don't want to go on too long, but this is something I really felt I had to say. So hashtag all human, please. Get out there and lend an ear to a stranger. Maybe learn a little something that doesn't include hate. Thank you. This is Elaine signing off, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. In the meantime, make the most of your today, every day.
Thank you for listening. Please subscribe on your favorite service. Suicide Zen Forgiveness was brought to you by Truel Social Media, the digital integration specialists. Let them get you on page 1 in the search results.
And also by Canada's keynote humorist, Judy Croon, the motivational speaker, comedian, author, and stand-up coach at Second City.